Hey everyone, hope all is well. I've recently been working on my new website, and upon designing the main page, it made me have a really hard think about a tagline that captures my life's mission statement. And what did I come up with? The quest for global empathy. And so in today's video, I wanted to share with you my life's philosophy. Many years ago, I read a brilliant book by Jeremy Rifkin called The Empathic Civilization, which looks at the nature of empathy in both a scientific and historical context. To summarise the latter, when we look back as far as hunter-gatherer societies, communication could only extend as far as they could speak, meaning empathy tended to only occur within the confines of their own tribes. Then there was the hydraulic agricultural civilizations, where reading and writing extended our means of communication. We became detribalized in many ways as a result. Our consciousness was no longer entirely focused around blood ties, but around theological belief systems, religious ties. I mean, Jews would find it easier to empathise with other Jews, Muslims with other Muslims, Christians with other Christians, etc, etc. And then we move on to the Industrial Revolution, where the development of markets and the creation of nation states allowed for empathy to transcend blood and religious ties. It could now occur across nationalities. And so Jeremy Rifkin, the author of this book, asks, if the evolution of empathy has come this far already, why can't we take it a step further? This book really spoke to me because I previously had similar thoughts, but coming at this from a different perspective. With my many surreal years of experience using YouTube as a vehicle for social change, and in the process seeing how this technology could be used to bring people together from all walks of life. I believe we have an incredible opportunity to achieve global empathy, but there is one more stepping stone we have to cross before we get there. Firstly, I'd like you to imagine that every human being on this planet is a dot. Throughout history, these dots have connected with one another through communication. As these dots join up, they create clouds of culture, ideology, belief systems, language, and thus communities are born. But different clouds may collide with each other, causing friction to occur and storms to form. Over the past decade, the internet has sped up this process on an unprecedented scale. Individuals who once had thoughts or beliefs that seem niche, making them feel alone in their local communities, may now be connected with millions of like-minded people all over the world. This has caused a perceived paradox to transpire, where as these clouds of unity grow and develop, so do the lines of division that separate them from each other. It has been argued that the internet has created echo chambers where people only talk to those who think the same way that they do, when actually the internet has only emphasised a phenomenon that has already existed throughout human history. We are now just more aware of it, and seeing these clouds so huge can be an intimidating sight. That is why some countries currently feel more divided on political issues than they ever have before. When looking at the history of human empathy, there is one significant factor that led to its development: communication, which derives from language. Many people believe that language is primarily used to communicate with other people, when actually it can be argued that the majority of language takes place within our minds, our inner monologue. It's how we talk with ourselves, and therefore create thought. And this is why language and culture is so important. It teaches us how to interpret our world. From blood ties to religious ties, from religious ties to nationalities, I now believe that we are moving into a realm where empathy occurs between ideological ties. And so, if we want to move from this place to one of global consciousness, we need to take an honest look at the main factor which divides us: language. The language that we speak, and the language that we think. I believe the following things. 1. We are all victims of circumstance. Number 2, a controversial one, there is no such thing as a bad person, just bad actions, bad decisions, and bad occurrences that derive from circumstance. You just have to look far enough back in that person's timeline. And finally, 3, we have the potential to be unified as a human species. When you consider the raw fundamentals of what everybody on this planet needs. Things like love, health, nutrition, mental well-being, connection, and a sense of belonging. Once I began to understand these things, it became a lot easier to live a life of tolerance, where I was able to engage with other people, even those I may fundamentally disagree with on so many levels. This brings us to what motivates me in the work that I do. My activism primarily revolves around value systems, not telling people what to think, but instead pointing out ways of thinking. And so my main interest is not changing the characteristics of each individual dot, but by finding ways of connecting these dots together. Empathy is a universal language, and so by doing what we can to create these connections, we stand the best possible chance of moving towards global consciousness. Because as technology continues to advance at an exponential rate, if our value systems as a human race don't develop along with it, conflicting clouds could grow so large and unstable that the storms destroy us because we fail to find a way to connect. This is what motivates me in pretty much everything that I do in life. And it is effectively how I best describe the quest for global empathy. And so I'd like to thank all of you out there who choose to join me on that very journey. Thank you very much. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. And adios till next time.